At 4 o'clock, good afternoon, I'm Sally Gorman. The mother of a 23-year-old man who was beaten and left to drown in the River Shannon in Athlone says she cannot forget her son's massacred face when she closes her eyes. 2 men were jailed for life this morning for the murder of Polish-born Patrick Krupa. Michael Brophy reports.
Mr Krupa drowned in the Shannon outside Athlone while incapacitated with a head injury from a violent assault on June 20th, 2014. 34-year-old Leszek Sikules with an address at Drynan, Ballymahan, County Longford, and 35-year-old Andrzej Gruchacz with an address in Warsaw, Poland, had pleaded not guilty to murdering Mr Krupa at Bogganfin, Athlone, County Roscommon. Last month, a jury of 4 women and 8 men deliberated for 5 hours before finding both men guilty of murdering Mr Krupa. In a victim impact statement read in court this morning, Mr Krupa's mother said that her life has changed a lot since the death of her son and that she cannot function properly anymore. She says she can't sleep and now only works twice a week as she can't stand being around people. Mr Sikules and Mr Gruchacz have been handed mandatory life sentences for murder.
A jury has been sworn in for the trial of a man accused of the murder of a Latvian national in Portarlington, County Laois. 38-year-old Lithuanian national Devidas Zegeles, with an address at Spa Street, Portarlington, has pleaded not guilty to murder, but guilty to the manslaughter of Alexander Karpov at the same address on February 15, 2014. The prosecution did not accept the manslaughter plea at the Central Criminal Court this morning. The trial will begin tomorrow in front of Justice Paul Butler. The Garda Commissioners admitted that it will take time to get it right with whistleblowers in the force. Noreen O'Sullivan's told the policing authority she emailed all 16,000 members and staff of the force this morning, outlining the new protected disclosures policy. She's answering questions before a public hearing of the authority in the wake of the O'Higgins Commission report, which investigated claims of Garda misconduct in Cavan Monaghan by the now Mullingar-based Sergeant Maurice McCabe. Commissioner O'Sullivan says while the policy is compliant with the law, ensuring people are confident to speak up will take time.
Have we got it right as of now? Absolutely no. The policy is right. It's certainly compliant with the legislation. What we are working very hard at is working with Transparency International Ireland and others to make sure that we put the mechanisms that need to be in place. You know, we are putting in place the mechanisms that need to be there. And it does take a lot of time, it takes a lot of commitment, and it takes a lot of very significant human investment.
2 new Fianna Fáil councillors have been co-opted onto Westmeath County Council. Liam McDaniel, who is heavily involved in local GAA, fills the seat of Paul Daly in the Mullingar-Kilbeggan area, following his election to the Seanad. Former Mullingar councillor Bill Collentine takes the place of newly elected Senator Aidan Davitt in Mullingar-Cool. Meanwhile, John Shaw is the new mayor of Mullingar. The Fianna Fáil councillor takes over the chain of office from Andrew Duncan, whose Fine Gael colleague Emily Wallace has been named deputy mayor at today's district AGM. Police in Orlando have been describing their operation to rescue hostages held by a gunman in a nightclub. 49 people died when Omar Mateen, who pledged allegiance to Islamic State, opened fire in what's now being described as America's worst mass shooting. Local police chief John Mina says more could have died if they'd not used an armoured truck to smash through the club's walls.
We were able to rescue dozens and dozens of people that came out of that hole. The suspect came out of that hole armed with a handgun and a long gun, engaged in a gun battle with officers where he was ultimately killed.
The Taoiseach is in Northern Ireland this afternoon calling for a vote in favour of the UK staying in the EU. He's delivering a keynote speech at the University of Ulster in Belfast. Enda Kenny will make similar addresses when he travels to England and Scotland later this week. A former Taoiseach, John Bruton, who is also chair of the IFSC, says there will be a huge economic losses for Ireland if the UK votes to leave the European Union.
Tariffs would have to be imposed pretty well straight away, and we would see customs posts having to be erected along the border in Ireland. We'd see a complete disruption of the distribution system of food and the distribution system of most goods on these islands, and indeed the economic losses for Britain and Ireland would be enormous.
It's 4 minutes past 4. Largely cloudy today, but some bright and sunny spells in places too. Scattered showers will develop through the afternoon with the risk of the odd heavy or thundery outbreak later. Maximum temperatures of 17 to 19 degrees Celsius with a light and variable breeze. It will remain cloudy in most places this evening and overnight with further showers and a few isolated mist patches. Mild with minimum temperatures of 10 to 12 degrees Celsius with light winds. Tomorrow, Tuesday, will be rather cloudy again and showers will continue through most of the day with heavy and thundery outbreaks too. Highs of 16 or 17 degrees Celsius with a light breeze generally from the northwest. Right now it's 16 degrees in Mount Rath. Your weather is with thanks to Athlone Town Centre with something to suit even the hardest to buy for dad this Father's Day.